wanting to do it again at some point, like, one more time. And unfortunately, it just never happened, never panned out that way. But, I mean, I would have loved to do it again. Like, it was just, fucking great worker all around. And, I mean, I don't know if I'd do a death match with him, but I remember the one time we actually, split. Like, the dude was squirting this shit out of his fucking head. Like, it was just like a little
Yeah.
and it's like, he had this, like, weird, expression on his face. Like, it was like this frown or whatever. I don't know if it's a frown of, like, an upset, like, I'm upset at myself type frown, or, like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what's happening? It's just, like, spewing out, like, in a stream.
Sure.
But, man, I mean, tough dude. I give him that. He's like one of the few legit fucking tough guys out there. But I'm so innocent by it. He's a gentleman.
How'd you hear about it? Who contacted you?
I was sleeping. I was going to work at like around. I wake up at like 4:15 in the morning. So my wife comes home. She works hayride, Halloween season. Something she's done prior to us dating and everything. So, yeah, she does in season. I was asleep, so she tells me while I'm asleep. If someone tells you something in your sleep, you just wake up and you kind of remember it, but you don't, like, you're not sure, like, what you heard or whatever. It's just like, it's like a subconscious or whatnot. And she came home, and I believe she said something about it, and I was just one of those, like, and I wake up, go downstairs, get changed, and I was like, jump on Facebook. So I get on Facebook, and I just see, all the rest in peace, a lot of RIPs. It was just like, it's just all over my page, like, home page. It's just nothing but rest in peace Marvin, rest in peace brain damage. And I was just like, oh, man, like, this is something I had to go to work thinking about. So, when I got home, I got more clarification from, like, a couple close friends. I wrote my piece on there. I talked to a few guys, and I heard some guys weren't doing so well, and, other guys are still in shock. Today, I spoke with Masada, and then I see how Danny Havoc was doing. He's hit pretty hard. And I pretty much got to know, like, some more details, which I don't want to get into, but it just made it seem worse. Like, when you, I don't know if you'll ever get it, or hopefully, no one doesn't go out so much, but it makes it just worse than what it is, and it's just, heartbreaking. It's just unfortunate. Like, no one just ever knew, like, this was just going to happen. Like, he never reflected that type of personality. Like, I don't remember the guy even drinking when we'd go out.
Exactly.
Right. He wasn't one of the smokers or anything like that. Yeah.
Nah, he was just, you would think, with, the deathmatch scene and doing all that and the pain and just, like, like slashing your body up, bumping your ass off, probably breaking a few bones, maybe fracturing a few or cracking a few. He just never dwelled into that. Like, he hung out with those guys, but never got into it. And I don't remember ever seeing a drink in his hand. I remember begging him to go to Nichols one night, and he actually showed up. And I don't remember seeing a drink. Maybe a soda. I don't remember seeing anything. It's just, it's still something hard to kind of stomach. Like, I know tomorrow, I guess they're having it ain't really a funeral, it's like a visitation of some sort in Ohio, and, I guess it's private burial, probably just to meet his family. I don't know, what his mom, thinks of the whole thing, or, blames either wrestling or whatnot, but, our condolences here at my house go out to the family, just for the sudden loss, and, losing a great guy in this world to the business. And the sad thing is, like, I kind of talked to, a few of my close friends, like G's and Masada, and it's like, in our world of professional wrestling, the guy means something. He has a name. But in, like, the real world, it's like, no one really cares, you know what I mean? It's, everyone goes on with their everyday thing, and I just hope that his name just lasts forever in this business, especially the Indies, the Midwest, and the East Coast.
Sure.
When earlier we had a fan on, and he kind of had the opinion, and I think some fans will get this opinion and they'll blame the wrestling business for what happened in this situation, and it happened in other people's situations. When we lose someone like J.C. Bailey, things like that, people tend to try to blame the wrestling business. How do you react to that? What do you say to that when someone says to you, this wrestling business, it's killing these guys?
I'd say, oddly enough, I talked to my wife about, we just had dinner. It was just, I needed a drink. And I kind of stopped drinking. And when you look at it, in a way you can. But then you also got to look at it this way. Like, say, for example, you wanted to be a baseball player since you were a child, all your life. And you've seen the same story of the J.C. Baileys, and, the Sweeneys, the Trent Acids. You see them in sports, but you don't see it the same way. But it's the same exact thing. It's just a whole different atmosphere. Now, back to what I was saying, just think of yourself just wanting to play baseball your whole life as a kid. And you work so hard. Like, your passion was just baseball, just like it is in pro wrestling. You live, eat, and sleep baseball. You've went to every practice. You just worked on your off time, on your swing, your catch, your throws, your pitch, just you name it. You played every position nonstop. Won trophies in every league possible. Then you finally get your shot in the majors. Now you get there, and it's not what it seems right when you get to that point. Now you're like, oh, fuck. Some of these guys that I looked up to, some of them are douchebags, and it doesn't feel right to go up to them saying, hey, I was a big fan of yours when I was a kid, and they just act like they don't give a shit. Like, oh, that's cool, kid, whatever. And then you start to realize the darker side of your dream, of that business. And then, depending on who you are or how you are, you need to be sucked right into it. Something that you put your whole life into, your heart and soul, and now it just feels like it wasn't worth it anymore. Now you can imagine how that would feel, to where it's like my hopes and dreams are fading away, and you don't know what to do. There's nothing else to fall back on. That's what I think is happening to a lot of these guys. The business opens doors on many things. We've all done stupid shit because of this business. We've all dabbled in a few things, some more than others, but it's just based on who you are and how you pretty much take it. And for Marvin, as much as he's been in, him not drinking or doing drugs, it's a miraculous thing, to tell you the truth. It's he's one of the few that was able to, stick through without the substances, but, I don't know how much of an impact it really was emotionally on him, but I know the details, it was pretty much business-related, but with the other guys, it's all on how you want to take it, and then no one knows how they feel at the time. You're looking at something you put your heart and soul into, and it's just pretty much, you're not being, it's almost like people not being grateful for it. It just hurts, and then you just pull it into more of a darker void, and you just don't know how to get out. Some guys just feel as though they don't know how to talk to anybody. Some of these guys could have been talked out of a lot of things if they talked to somebody, and it just seems like none of them did, because they probably thought it was just too much of a pussy move to do, or they just want to keep it to themselves, because that's just the type of people they are. But, it's almost like we do have to stick together in a way, like me and Jeeves was talking about, but only times like now is when you realize, and you take a lot of things for granted. And, some guys, they're going to look at this, hopefully they kind of just slow down at things that they're doing now, and see that life is pretty much short. It can be done at any time. And, no one ever thought he would do it. It could be anybody. It could have been an accident, it could be anything. But, I'm hopefully guys just pretty much slow down and look at all these passings of all these great guys that we've been in the business, we've shared the same locker room together in the past 4 to 5 years. I mean, we're just losing too many of our brothers to just, just stupid shit, and it's just unfortunate for, like, their families and the rest of us, and I'm hoping it just stops.
Sure. You talk about sharing locker rooms and stuff. I know you've recently stopped wrestling, correct?
Yes.
Has it been long enough to miss it yet, or are you still enjoying it?
Nah, it seemed like the right time to do it. Like, it was getting to a point, it was getting fucking retarded, to tell you the truth. Like,
sure,
something you love doing for a long time, and just people just seem to, like, not give a shit anymore. Like, once you lose passion for it, it becomes a chore. Then once it becomes a chore and you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, it's almost like, is it even worth getting hurt for, or hurting somebody else by accident? You don't care anymore. And
or even wasting a whole day being somewhere, right?
What's
like,
that?
Or even just wasting a whole day being somewhere that you don't want to ultimately be.
I just looked at, why be at a show I don't want to be at? Like, I'm wasting an afternoon for what? And then you look at your goddamn envelope at the end of the night, you're like, okay, I've asked for this much before, and now you're just giving me this, but then the whole financial aspect behind it, who's getting what, and you're like, okay, I guess you don't think I'm worth it, but then you're telling me you want this and this and this, and you want me to headline this. Get the fuck out of my face, dude.
Yeah.
And then in this business, a lot of these fucking guys leave their own hype. They ain't shit in the real world or on the street. They are not shit. There's only a few guys that pretty much project themselves in the ring, and they're the same way outside. And a lot of these other guys like faking the funk, and they think they're hard asses since they play this badass in the ring, but then when on the outside, they're just straight pussies.
Sure.
Like,
That's 90%.
Back in the day, I'd snatch your fucking chain off your neck, and ain't shit you're going to fucking do about it. Because you're just going to get your head stomped in and probably kicked into a curb. And then I just got to a point now, I don't want to go resort back to the old me and get locked up and lose everything I built for now to some piece of shit that I'm going to think about, probably in a jail cell for like the next 10 to 20 years. I'm like, wow, was it really worth losing everything to that piece of shit?
Absolutely. I want to change gears, go a little bit off topic real quick, because you're kind of a unique perspective that we can get. We don't just talk wrestling on this show. We talk politics. We talk a lot of different things. And you're a military man. You served in the military. I wanted to get your perspective on, as a guy that served in the military and has seen what's going on as far as foreign policy and wars in other countries. Now that you're back home and you're kind of out of that, what is your perspective when you hear these debates and hear the media talking about the what's going on overseas? It's an interesting perspective. I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Well, when it comes to like foreign policy, while you're like serving and you're on a deployment, the last thing you think about is like politics. You don't really care for it anymore. Because you're there doing a duty. You're there to watch each other's back, making sure the brother next to you, in front of you, behind you, come back home, just as you would. Like, you don't care about what's going on. Like, a lot of things you don't agree with, but you're there on orders anyway, and you're there to save each other. That's bottom line. When the bullets are flying, you're not thinking about anything else but killing your target, and that's it. And then making it alive with everybody. And when it comes to the shit going on in the news, like, war now is basically fought on public opinion. People here, you got to look back in 2001, when after 9/11 happened, you've seen a shitload of yellow ribbons on every car, on every house. Just everywhere. Support our troops, do this. Once we started, we went into Iraq and had, started war there, and then in Afghanistan. They had war on two fronts, the war on terror, as they call it. Everyone was in support of it. Then after time went by, people started, opening their mouth, having their opinions. Other people started listening, and then they put their 2 cents in. they just don't realize the sacrifice people, men and women do to be over there. So I'm like, there's